Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I wanted to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Hey, all right. Listen. Hey! Oh, no. It looks like next week. Oh, Team Twirl. Team Twirl. It looks like next week is about to go down. Next week, it appears as though that's when things are about to start to go left. With the moment. I am the moment. Okay.
The moment. I'm always the moment.
It appears as though things are about to go left, start to go left with Kenya Summermore, and the newest cast member, Britt Edie. Um, whoo I guess we'll see. We'll see how it all goes down, and I hope that production they show us everything as much as they can. I know they're not going to show the pictures, but they need to show us everything. Whatever Britt did, if she did anything, whatever Kenya did, if she did anything, I think they need to show all of it. And girl, may the best woman win. Let the chips fall where the chips fall. And let the viewers come to their own conclusion. Don't hide what somebody said, like y'all do over there on Potomac, or as I call it, the Real Housewives of Potomac. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this episode. So Britt and Mike, Mike is Britt's husband. They're hosting a family dinner. It appears as I think it might be mostly his side of the family. Um, Britt likes to brag about being a video vixen in high school. Okay. Can I ask a question? I'm just asking questions. Can I ask a question? Shout out to Miss Wanda from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Can I ask a question? Girl, what was your mama and your daddy at when you was in high school? I heard girl being a video vixen. Now I know at 18 you're legally grown, so maybe she didn't need any consent, I'm assuming, to sign off on any paperwork or, whatever she was doing. But girl, you were just in the streets like that while you was in high school, being a video vixen? And we know not with every video vixen, but we know the lifestyle, the things. Shout out to Superhead and all the other video vixens. Anyways, um, does that make sense what I'm saying? It sounds as if Britney started early. I mean, she was a video vixen in high school, and then I guess she transitioned into the being the girlfriend of the football players, and she mentioned Rick Ross, right? It is what it is. She said that she wanted to be a wife, and she basically wanted to find a man who was husband material. And the men that she were dating, um, they were not. They basically didn't fit the shoes of what she wanted to be, what she wanted a husband to be. And when she met Mike, I guess he checked off all the boxes. I do want to know what Mike does for. What does Mike do for work? Can I say something? Mike is cute. But Mike gives me real, like, I don't know, it's something about Mike that gives me just like, I don't know, like the sideways talking. I don't know, it's something about him. Like, I need to know what Mike does for work. I don't know. It appears as though he's going to be one of those husbands who's always on the scene. He might be the new Peter. I don't know. Because every time I look up, he's around. Later in the show, her part, uh, Brittany went downstairs to speak to her sister, and he came downstairs to get. They're like, why are you always popping up? Even I think in probably a week or two when Britt and Kenya get into it, he's also there. I saw him outside with Britt. Like, why are you here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you here? And like, it's like this. It's like this. I can't explain it. It's just like I don't know. It's something about Britt's husband that's I don't know. It's like almost like a shady type of. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Um, But anyway, so they sit down to eat. They have a chef. She has a personal assistant. I thought the personal assistant that was a bit too much because girl, I didn't know if he was a butler, and then on one hand he's dressed like a butler, right? He has on a tuxedo, like a vest, a bow tie, girl, some slacks, and he's also handing out the plating the food, not plating the food, but handing the food out. I was like, is he a personal assistant? Is he the butler? Is he the chef's assistant? I don't know. I just felt like you know how like when you watch these shows, sometimes you can tell when the girls are putting on just a little bit. Like, girl, even if he is your personal assistant, I refuse to believe that boy walks around here with a vest on and a bow tie and slacks every day. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I thought it was funny when the little boy, I think it was Mike's nephew. Um, I think it was his sister's child. He said, "You have a lobster tail. Don't you think that's a little too fancy?" Baby, when that little boy said, "You have a lobster tail," because they had lobster tails. Don't you think that's a little too fancy, girl? And I said, right then and there, he telling us the tea, girl. Anytime we eat drumsticks and macaroni and cheese. Crap. Anytime we eat, I'm eating chicken nuggets and French fries. Now all of a sudden, these cameras pop up and they feeding us lobster tails. Y'all fake. Girl, y'all are fake. We eat drumsticks and macaroni and cheese out the box. Anyways, so she's basically giving them the 411, the rundown on her interactions with the girls. And she says that everyone was cool, but Kenya was. I said, girl, here we go. Britt wants an issue with the queen. We gotta call it what it is, baby girl. Brit want an issue with the queen. Come on, Brit, you want an issue with the queen, girl. You want an issue with the queen. You want to rubber with the bee, huh? Throw a hex on the whole family, dressing all black like the omen, girl. You want a problem with the queen, baby. She want to rubber with the bee, huh? Throw a hex on the whole family, huh? The queen bee, baby. Anyways, so Britt does let us know that her father passed away in 2015. He had a $2 million life insurance policy that was supposed to go to his mother, but I think she said he was basically transitioning from one job to the next, and that's when he passed away. So I don't know. I'm assuming I don't know. I was about to say, does that mean that he had insurance through his job, and then I don't know. I don't know, girl. I don't know. But that's what she said. And then she said that's when they had to take out a GoFundMe to, I guess, bury their father. And that's when she was like, we can't live this way. And so that's when she started her insurance agency. She brought on her sisters. Her and her sisters basically fell out. She has two sisters. She mentioned two sisters. She has two sisters, and one of the sisters she had to fire um, because she got a tad bit too comfortable. And then the other sister, I guess she quit because I guess Britney was a little hard at work. But nonetheless, whatever it was, they fell out, and so they're not really in communication anymore. And that's when she asked. Well, that's what she was telling. She was saying this when she went down to the basement. She asked Mike's sister to go down to the basement with her. Um, so Porsha and Kelly, they meet up for drinks and food, and I'm not gonna lie, it was awkward. It was awkward. I was a tad bit confused because Porsha said that she doesn't know Kelly, but then she also said that Kelly has different personalities, and you don't know which one you're gonna get. Oh, you don't know which one you're gonna get. Um, but anyways, so they meet up, they talk, they hash things out. I really don't want to get into the whole Porsha and girl, because so listen. So Porsha wants to know why Shamia. Why would Shamia tell? You could tell this is where this is where I guess the downfall of their relationship starts because Portia basically wants to know, why would Shamia tell Kelly to ambush her or tell the ladies to ambush her at her birthday party? I don't think it's necessarily about Shamia telling them to ambush Portia. However, I do believe that if Shamia is really trying to get from underneath Portia's spell, or whatever her and Portia, that one-sided friendship they have, while I'm not gonna let anybody sit here and just dog you out in front of my face, right? Um, but I will tell them that, girl, if you have any questions, you'll see Portia at my birthday party. I don't think Shamia was wrong for telling Kelly or Britt. Basically, if y'all have any questions, you can ask her. Girl, y'all not gonna dog my sister out in front of my face, but girl, whatever you need to say, you can say it to her, and she can tell you whatever she gonna tell you. Um. Anyways, so Drew, Kenya, and Angela and Cynthia, they meet up. Drew is at the studio. Oh baby, Drew's album. Girl, now y'all know I don't really see it for Drew like that. Like, I don't have nothing against Drew, but I just don't see. I don't see it for Drew as a housewife. That's all it is. Like, when Drew comes on my TV screen, I don't know if she's acting. I never just connect with Drew as a housewife. That's all it is. Um, but I'm not no hater though. Girl, my mama and my grandmama ain't raised no hater. Okay, I can still tell the truth though. Like, when I tell you Drew's album, Drew came out with, I think it was her debut album, and it was I think it was executive produced by Dennis, Portia's baby daddy. And I gotta give it to Drew Sidora, baby. Drew Sidora got a hit on her hands, baby. Now, is she gonna win a Grammy? Probably not. But could I see Drew probably being nominated for a little BET award? Not a little, not to downplay the BET awards, but can I see her being nominated for like a BET awards, maybe like NAACP? Girl, quiet as I would be shocked if Drew got a Grammy nomination for at least one or two of those songs. Girl, urban contemporary, is that one of the? Is that one of the? Is that one of the categories? Is she gonna win album of the year? No, but Drew has a good album. I was literally listening to the album again yesterday in the shower. I'm not even like, I wouldn't even play in y'all face. I wouldn't even play in y'all face. I would not even play in y'all face. Drew has a good album. I was really shocked. And at first I was like, is the album good, or are you just shocked that are or or was it that your expectations were so low that now you hear it and you like, oh no, the album is actually good. It really is. It's like a real album. Like, you could tell that they really put work into the songs. Shout out to Drew, baby. Shout out to Dennis. Maybe Dennis is one of those people, almost like a Candy Burris in a way. I think that's a problem with some of us, and I'm probably guilty of this too, where sometimes we do try to put people in a box. Where, yeah, Dennis probably did go down the road, not probably did, but he went down the road of owning restaurants and all that stuff. But maybe he's also talented. Clearly, he's talented when it comes to music too. Candy, she started out in music, and now she is also in the restaurant business, sex toy industry, plays. Shout out to Candy, um movies. So, like, she's branching out to different industries. So, Dennis could be one of those people that where he might just be multi-talented, and he could open up successful restaurants and clubs and lounges, and also be great at music too. I'm not mad at it. Go listen to Drew's album. um anyway, so she's in the studio, And even though I will say I didn't, girl, I ain't gonna say, girl, I'm gonna say that for another, girl, I'm not gonna, girl, I was about to be shady. I'm gonna leave it alone. So she's in the studio, and Kenya, Angela, and Cynthia stop by. Um, they really, they really are using my girl for only what they need her for. You could tell that Kenya is, or she was gonna be the HBIC because Kenya is literally moving these storylines along. You could see like, okay, girl, we got a girl, we got a show to do. You know what I'm saying? So she comes in and she pretty much overtook the whole scene with Drew. So Drew didn't want to talk about Dennis. But Kenya changed and said, no, 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 no. Girl, why Dennis not here? She didn't want to talk about Dennis. She was like, oh, y'all want something to drink? You want some champagne? Girl. Here goes sis. I think Cynthia was about to say, y'all take some champagne. Girl, no, we're going to talk about Dennis. Okay? Girl, and Cynthia, you know better, girl. No, don't let her change. No, no, no. We can get to the champagne later, girl. We can open up champagne and talk at the same time. Um, Drew... This is why people say that Drew be lying, right? Because Drew says that her and Dennis don't even talk on the phone. Then, of course, they show a clip of her and Dennis talking on the phone. Instead of Drew just saying, Dennis and I have a very professional relationship. Of course, we talk on the phone because he's executive producing my album. So why would we not talk on the phone? But when we talk on the phone, it's strictly business. Sometimes if it's just what time are we meeting at the studio, he'll just shoot me a text and I'll respond. But to think that we don't talk on the phone would be absolutely asinine. Why would I not speak on the phone with the person I'm in business with? And he's executive producer my debut album. That's all Drew has to say. But Drew starts to go down this road of, no, we're not, we don't talk on the phone. Then they show a clip of her talking on the phone. But of course you talk on the phone because he's executive producing your album. You see what I'm saying? Every conversation doesn't need to be had on the phone. Some stuff you can just shoot a text message. Like I said earlier, what time are we meeting at the studio today? 5:00. Okay, see you at 5. You know, I don't know. It's stuff like that. Kenya tells Drew that she was wrong, basically for not telling Porsha. See, this is the thing. Okay, we gotta have some. Let's be for real. Let's have some real honest conversation. Okay. Under any other circumstance, we would probably be saying that Drew is wrong to a certain degree. Okay. So if somebody went and decided they wanted to work with Mark Daly, which is Kenya's ex-husband, baby, it would be hell to pay, right? Because we know how that man disrespected Kenya on TV, right? And Team Twirl, we will be off with anybody's head who was trying to bring that nigga onto the show, right? We will be mad. Because why are you working with Kenya's baby daddy? And you know how this nigga move. We will be pissed. I think the difference is the reason why a lot of people, the viewers, don't care is because of the way that Porsha moves. It's almost like, let me give you an example. You know, I love Dr. Heavenly, right? I can also admit that Dr. Heavenly is a messy girl. That's still my girl, though. When Dr. Heavenly and Sweet Tea got into it online, Sweet Tea talked about Dr. Heavenly's dead mother. In response, Dr. Heavenly said that her dead mama could probably have a kid before Sweet Tea had a kid. So even though what Sweet Tea said to Dr. Heavenly was mean as hell, a lot of people didn't care because they felt like, who gives a damn? Because Dr. Heavenly keep up all the mess and all the shit. So whatever Sweet Tea said to Dr. Heavenly, whatever. You see what I'm saying? So now here we are with Porsha, who Kenya and Cynthia, and a lot of people will probably feel like, girl, you could at least told that girl you was working with her baby daddy, bringing the baby daddy onto the show. But who the hell gives a damn? Because from what Porsha said, the friendship with her and Drew ain't even that deep. That's one that came out of Porsha's mouth. And then two, it's hard to kind of say that Drew is wrong when Porsha moves the way that she moves. Did Porsha get Fallon the heads up that when she invited her into her home and girl walked out with her husband and her Hennessy after Porsha and her sister walked into her home, ate her food, drank her drink, did she give Fallon a heads up? You see what I'm saying? So even if you wanted to say that Drew was wrong, people wouldn't care because of how Porsha moves. Porsha is down to the internet hanging out with Brit to this very day after her best friend Shamia said that Brit said something about her child. So it's hard for people to give a damn about what Drew did if Drew was wrong because look at what Porsha has done. You see what I'm saying? And in Drew's defense, Drew did try and get in contact with Porsha several times. Porsha kept canceling, putting their dinner off. Cynthia says you should have picked up the phone and called Porsha. Let me tell you something. In this scenario, girl, in 2025, especially with this not being anything that I need to just pick up the phone and call her about, girl, if I'm texting you, a text is just as good as a phone call in this scenario. And if you keep putting me off, girl, not wanting to respond, or you know what I'm saying? Like at some point, it is what it is. And again, to what Porsha said, the friendship with Drew, it ain't even that deep. So at some point, what does Drew owe Porsha? Because the difference between Porsha and Drew is Drew ain't fucking Dennis. Hello? I do believe that the relationship between Drew and Dennis is strictly professional. Now, was a relationship between Simon and Porsha strictly professional? So again, I get what Kenya and Cynthia are. Cynthia also used an example of back in the day when Kenya tried to do her TV show, Life Twirls On. She got with Cynthia and said, "Hey, Cynthia, I want to work with your baby daddy." Blah 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 blah. Cynthia said, "Cool," and I do get it. And you know, most scenarios, I do feel like, especially if you have some type of association, you know, friendliness, somewhat of a friendship, you would be like, "Hey, just so you don't think anything is happening between me and your baby daddy, girl, we working together." But again, to Drew's point, I tried to get in contact with her. She just kept putting it off. So at some point, girl, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop my business in a way of me making money and also me putting out my work, girl, because girl, I gotta talk to Porsha. That's what you should say. Girl, listen, I tried to talk to the girl. At this point, I don't give a damn. It is what it is. Girl. Um, but yeah, people don't care because Porsha moves grimy and slimy. Sorry. You can't move the way that you move like Porsha and think that people are gonna give a damn. They're just not. Shamia. Girl, can we have a real tough conversation about Shamia? So Shamia meets up with her sisters, and Shamia is stressed out basically. What it sounds like, and Shamia has said this earlier, earlier in the season, well, it's only been 3 episodes, but she said this either the first or second episode. Excuse me. Ralph, not Ralph. What's the nigga name? What's her husband name? Gerald. That's the nigga name. Gerald. Gerald, it sounds like Gerald wants a whole bunch of kids. And Shamia is doing what she can do in order to give her husband what he wants. But in the process, Shamia, it sounds as though Shamia is being pulled in 15 different directions. And on top of all of that, her youngest daughter is having what health complications, right? So on top of me having to deal with my youngest daughter, I'm also trying to have another child. And then she mentioned that even when she was trying to go through IVF, she said her estrogen levels would get so high it put her at risk for strokes and blood clots. So now she's trying to go down the road of finding another surrogate, but then she's more than likely probably nervous because of what happened with the last surrogate, right? I just, I don't know. Girl, I get it. I know that's her husband. I know some of you how y'all get about y'all husband. What's the helper name? Drew. She was down there telling Sonya, well, if your husband want more kids, you're supposed to do what your husband tell you to do. Whatever the hell she said. But girl, I'm not about to kill myself trying to have no kids. You got the game fucked up, sir. Girl, we already stressed out. Girl, I don't even know what's going on with my youngest baby. And now I'm trying to bring another baby into the mix when, girl, we ain't even out of the woods yet with Shiloh. You see what I'm saying? But it just sounds like he just wants more kids, more kids, more kids. Girl, sometimes y'all just got to be grateful with the kids that the universe has blessed you with, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because what's the point of having kids when your ass is dead? Or, girl, you can't really be there for your kids the way you want to be. I remember the first person I remember the first person I heard say this was Dwayne Martin with his trifling fine ass. But Dwayne Martin is still fine. Shout out to Dwayne Martin, baby. Yes, girl. T-shirt on one of my slam dunker tonight. Yes, I heard he was over there slam dunking Will Smith. Let me shut up. But I remember the first person I heard say this was Dwayne Martin, and it was when he was married to Tisha Campbell, and he said he used to always tell Tisha that you have to put yourself first before the kids, before me, because if you're going to be the person, I guess, to do whatever you do as a wife, um, then how are you going to be okay for your kids? Even just as a mother, take the wife out of it. How are you going to be okay for your kids when you're not okay? So you have to put yourself first in order to make sure that you're okay for the family, for the kids. You see what I'm saying? So Shamia is running around her like a chicken with her head cut off. And girl, she's putting all of her energy into Shiloh. And then the other little girl cries when she has to go to the hospital. Then Shamia really ain't got nothing left for herself. And then she also has to worry about bringing more kids into the, like, I just feel like that's a lot. I really do. Anyways, Angela and Charles, they meet up at a property. Listen, Angela, baby. Charles is handsome. I was looking at it, I was like, Charles is handsome. Shout out to Charles. Um, Baby, let me stop looking at y'all husbands, baby. Anyways, so Charles was banned. I don't know nothing about Charles Oakley. Girl, he made me nervous. Girl, I said, Charles gonna fuck around and say something. Baby, Charles gonna fuck around on his TV screen and say something, and girl, everybody's gonna gag. Everybody. From what everybody been saying, Charles don't have a filter, and what come out of his mouth is what come out of his mouth. The nigga was banned from Madison Square Garden. Girl. Girl, how you banned from the stadium, girl? So he was banned from the stadium, Madison Square Garden in 2017. She says the owner can't stand Charles. One of my friends said, I don't keep up with Charles. So when my friend told me this, and then when I saw people saying it online, I was like, oh, girl, Charles is a mess. A good mess, probably, but a mess nonetheless. Now, this is where Angela, girl, you got some explaining to do. Angela, girl, it's some holes in your story. This is why I'm here, because I'll be listening to what the girls be saying. So Angela said we were newly married. Okay, so she's basically talking about him being banned from Madison Square Garden in 2017. She says the owner can't stand Charles, and she says we were newly married. He needed to heal, and I couldn't heal him, so I said we're going to try and work through this from a distance. And we did live separately. Everything that has happened since we got married did affect us. That's what she said. Let me tell you what she said again. She says that he got banned from Madison Square Garden in 2017 because the owner couldn't stand him. Okay, girl, whatever. She says that they were newly married and he needed to heal, and I couldn't heal him, so I said we're going to try and work through this from a distance. And we did live separately. Everything that has happened since we got married did affect us, girl. All that ain't happened, girl. Y'all separated after y'all were newly married because he got banned from the stadium. Girl, it's some holes in that story. And Angela, you ain't telling us the whole. You ain't telling us the full story. Girl, did the nigga cheat on you? Because that's what it sounded like. Girl, what happened, Angela? Angela, girl, Angie, Angie, you ain't telling us a full story. Because I heard what you said. What you said was some bullshit. Well, what you want me to do about it? Because I ain't changing it. I said what I said. Okay. What you said was some bullshit, Angela. Girl, him being banned from the stadium caused that much chaos, girl, confusion, and y'all marriage where y'all had just got married, y'all had to separate. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what you're trying to sell. I'm not buying what you're trying to sell. I'm not buying what you're trying to sell. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, Angela. Angie, I'm not buying it. Go talk to somebody else because I'm not buying the bullshit. What happened between you and that man to the point where y'all had to separate so early in y'all marriage and go live separately? Because it wasn't because he just got banned from no goddamn gymnasium. Okay. I'm not gonna let none of these girls play in my face season 16. What is going on, Angie? And she wants to renew their vows, but girl, pretty much the money is caught up into all these houses. So Charles said, you got to wait. I don't blame him. Girl, sit down. Um, Drew and her lawyer. Girl, I'm not trying to pick. Girl, I'm not trying to pick. I swear to God, I'm not trying to pick. I'm not trying to pick. I'm not. Where I thought Drew's outfit was so cute. So she had on a blazer, but it looked like a piece of lingerie was attached to it, like a bustier lingerie. It was cute. It was like one. It was like side of. It was like it's like they cut the lingerie in half and pasted it right here, and then had like the bottom part hanging down. It was real cute. But I was trying to figure out why did she? I don't know. I just thought it was. I thought it was weird to wear. I don't know. I was like, girl, it's cute. I don't know why I would have worn that too, but I don't know if I would have worn it to go talk to my lawyer. I thought it was a little. I don't know. I thought it was weird. I did. I just think. I don't know. But so she goes to meet up with her lawyer, and it's 12:19, and Drew got a lingerie, a piece of lingerie attached to her blazer at 12:19. Because when she hugged the lawyer, her phone light came on, and you saw 12:19 on her phone. So, long story short, Ralph hasn't handed over his financial documents, but he has access to all of hers. You know, this is it's not funny, but Drew was the same person who Drew was the same person who, you know, I hate to say this because I'm not trying to argue with nobody, but girl, shout out to the girls who put their husband first and first and first and first and first. But it just goes to show that Ralph has been an ancient nigga because girl, well that don't necessarily mean that you're an ancient nigga because you're getting a divorce, but in most cases it probably is. But girl, this is the same man who would not allow your sister to come to your home. He has had access to all of your financial documents. um, he pretty much knows your every move. And now we look up you're divorcing him, but this is the same person who you were telling Sonya last year that she should go ahead and have a baby because that's what she's there for, to be a mattress maid and a mule. And again, we look up you divorcing this nigga. Tanya is basically her lawyer. She says that once the case gets unsealed, it's going to be right now. The case is sealed, but once it gets unsealed, everything in the documents are going to be out. So I guess it will be public. It will be for public consumption. Drew starts crying, and she basically says that she's worried about her kids, and I get it because the kids are going to see this on the internet, and then the other kids are probably going to see this on the internet, and the kids have to go to school. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But Tanya was looking at her like, "Girl, wipe your." Girl, Tanya, baby, her lawyer was giving me, "Bitch, why are you crying?" Girl, her lawyer was like, "Well, girl, we're gonna be all right." Okay, girl, we're gonna be all right. Girl, Tanya was looking at Drew like, "Girl, why are you crying?" Girl, fuck that nigga. That's what Tanya was giving me. And them kids gonna be all right. They ain't got no trust but to be all right. Because this is happening. Okay. Anyways, so girl. Porsha. I will give Miss Diane, girl. I'll be as a side. Miss Diane looks damn good, baby. I'm gonna get that Diane, girl. I ain't no hater. Girl. My mama and my grandmama ain't raised no hater. Baby, that Miss Diane looks damn good. Miss Diane looks like she got a little work done to her face. Did she? I don't know. Miss Diane looks good though. I will give Miss Diane. Miss Diane don't never look a mess. Girl, Miss Diane don't never look a mess. Never. Now we got that out the way. So Porsha and Dirty Diana. That's what the diva called them. Shout out to Erica De Niro TV. Dirty Diana. And I put a little spin on it. She was the first person I heard her call Dirty. She called that lady Dirty Diana. I think she could either call her Dirty Diane because her name is Diane, but I think she called her Dirty Diana. And I switched it up into a Michael Jackson song. Dirty Diana, no, Dirty Diana, no. That Dirty Diana, yeah. Um, Listen, I'm not getting caught up into Porsha and Miss Diane this episode. Porsha full of shit. I hate to say it. I love Miss Diane. I ain't got no issues with her mama. But Miss Diane, she full of shit too. Um, they're basically saying they thought that Simon was gonna be a protector. Girl, you didn't even know that nigga. Like, why are we acting like Porsha and Simon were together for like, girl, 15 years, 10 years? Girl, from what you said, you only dated the man for what, 30 days before? It was, I can't remember the timeline, but we're not gonna act like Porsha and Simon were together for so long where she had a chance to really get to know who Simon was. And now she's sitting here crying like, I just thought he was gonna be my protector, and I just thought that he was gonna be there for me, and he just, oh my God, like, oh my God, I just thought that he was gonna just provide and protect for me, and he didn't do anything he said he was gonna do. Girl, shut up. I put, girl, get off my screen with this protector shit. You didn't even know that nickel. Okay. Y'all heard Miss Diane. Miss Diane told Porsha, she was basically telling Miss Diane about Shamia. And Shamia was coming back telling her all the stuff that the girls were saying about her. And Miss Diane said, basically, you gotta watch that hoe. Now she ain't said it that way. That's how I'm saying it. But that's what Miss Diane wanted to say. Miss Diane said was what Miss Diane said was she used like the old school, like the what is it like the old school? What they say like you gotta watch the doll that bring back the bone. So she was basically telling Porsha she need to watch out for Shamia. I know that's your friend, girl. I would be so devastated in real life if I had been friends with somebody since we were like in middle school, high school, and because at some point, more than likely, girl, your mama, I probably look at your mama like my mama in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been on each other since we was like little girls. And for you, if I heard your mama saying you gotta watch out for me, you know what I'm saying? And I've been knowing you since middle school, girl. I mean, if anything, girl, on some real shit, girl. But I guess somebody could say that if Shamia mama told her about. But the thing is, Shamia ain't did shit. All BS aside, what has Shamia done to Porsha where Miss Diane should be telling Porsha she should watch out for Shamia? Now, on some real stuff, if Shamia mama told Shamia that she needs to watch out for Porsha, based off what we've seen Porsha do on Real Housewives of Atlanta, it would probably make sense. So I guess in a way, I guess it really wouldn't matter if they've been friends since middle school or whatnot. Because if I saw Porsha, if I saw Shamia's mother telling her to watch out for Porsha, I would say, well, girl, I can see why she's saying that. Look how Porsha has moved on the show as it pertains to Shamia. But Shamia hasn't really done anything to me, in my opinion, not that I can remember, where Miss Diane needs to give Porsha the heads up to watch out for for Shamia. What it is they want Shamia to protect and defend Porsha at all costs, and I think Shamia is slowly taking off those shoes. Girl, I can't defend Porsha at every turn. That's my sister. I'm not gonna let anybody dog her out, but girl, I can't defend her at every turn. She's going to speak up for her damn self. So I can come back and tell you, I don't think that Miss Diane and Porsha, of course, Porsha don't want to talk about it. I think that Miss Diane doesn't like the fact that they just don't want to talk about what Porsha has done, which was walk into Fallon's house and walk out with her husband and nothing to say. In a few fruits, a few of the food from the fruit tray. So, anyways, girl, I don't care about Porsha and Simon. So, the Balmain event, girl, I remember when Kelly first said that she was having an event at Balmain, and I was like, I don't know why I thought it was a restaurant because it didn't register the clothing store. I was like, what's she? I was like, okay, girl. It must be like a grill, chicken and waffle place, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so she's having an event at Balmain, and it's to raise money for OI. I can't remember the name. It's basically the easy term is brittle bone disease. It's affected 3 of her daughters. At one point, she said that they had went to the hospital for one of her daughters, and I think she said they were there for like 30 days. I can't remember what she said, but the cops showed up because they thought that they were abused. They thought that she was abusing her daughters. Yes, and come to find out, they had this disease. Everybody arrives. It's cute. I love the event. I really I love the fact that they were purchasing things. That's my biggest. I just want to see the girls spend a little money. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why we watch the Housewives. We want to see. I'm tired of the Housewives walking into these stores, just having a kumbaya moment, and then walking out empty-handed. I do love the fact it appears as though they probably pulled them to the side and said, "Hey, y'all gonna have to open up y'all bags, girl." So Kelly's having an event. Y'all gonna have to buy something and not return it. Okay, if you return it, girl, I don't know, but girl, y'all gonna have to buy something. So they were raising money for the organization, and I think 10% of the proceeds were gonna go to. Again, I think it's called OI. The easy term, I think, is brittle bone disease. So they raised $30,000, which is good. Everybody arrives. I thought it was funny when I thought it was so cute that Porsha and her daughter were dressed alike, and Kenya and her daughter were dressed alike too. It was so cute. Did y'all see when Cynthia was holding Brooklyn? Because she sort of pulled. She started tugging on Cynthia's wig. Goodness, she's like, it's gonna come sliding right on off. Okay. Anyways, Brit, Brit want to Brit girl, Brit want Brit girl, Brit girl, girl. Brit is cool so far. Brit is cool. Brit ain't really did nothing so far. But Brit want to be Kenya friend so bad. She want to be her friend, but also have beef with her at the same time. Um, she walked in. Kenya said hi, Baldwin Barbie. That's what she called Brit. She called her Baldwin Barbie, and then she said, "You look cute." And she gave her a hug. It ain't no beef, girl. Brit wants the beef. Kenya don't want no beef with Brit. At this point, Kenya is just in charge of the girls, right? I'm just moving the storylines along. I'm speaking to everybody. We having a good time. I'm gonna let the new girls fight, and I'm gonna move the shit along because that's what I'm here, right, girl? I might get when it's time to get into a little 1-2 with the girls and do a little 1-2. Girl, her 1-2 turned into like a girl a 30-40. Yeah. Ah, no, Kenya. Oh, wait, this is about to be a mess. Oh, we got to put our helmets on, baby. We gotta go for girl. It's wartime. Girl, in about 2 weeks, it's wartime, baby. No, but for real, everybody looked nice. Angela and Shamia, they got into it. Angela, girl. Angela and Shamia got into it. It was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. Angela called Shamia Flavor Flav, which once I found out why she called her Flavor Flav, it was basically because Shamia dressed up as Flavor Flav for Halloween in 2023. I was like, oh, okay, so girl, you're a fan of. I'm not a fan, but you know what I'm trying to say. You're using something like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, girl, whatever. Um, but you got that because she dressed up as Flavor Flav in 2023, so that means you had to be looking at her Instagram page. It's not like Shamia just makes the blogs. So how else would you know she dressed up as Flavor Flav unless you were following or watching her Instagram page? You see what I'm saying? Um, she says that Angela looks like LaToya Jackson, baby. When I tell you, I'm not gonna lie. When Porsha said, "Hee hee," bitch, baby. When Shamia said that Angela looks like LaToya Jackson, and Porsha said, "Hee hee," and then Shamia went, I tell you, when I tell you I lost it in this apartment, yeah, that's probably one of the few times I have ever really laughed like hardcore from my gut at Porsha. Hee hee, and then Shamia, wow. I'm so sorry. Oh God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
I know that. And I love the Jackson. Now, I didn't want to laugh, but
At one point, Kenya tried to break it up. Girl, no, girl. The only thing I could think about was, girl, I know Kenya trying to break this up because, one of the issues she had with Mark was basically trying to say that, girl, the Real Housewives of Atlanta were baddies. I mean, in a way, they kind of are, if we're going to be honest. But remember, he didn't want Brooklyn filming. And he said, and I'm paraphrasing, he felt like Brooklyn was in danger and all that mess. So I know Kenya was like, girl, y'all cannot be doing this in front of these kids, especially not mine. Because the nigga, I just went through hell and high water trying to film, trying to get my daughter to film on the show. And now y'all are here arguing, fussing and fighting. And these things could really go left real fast. So she's trying to break it up. She brings Angela to one side, and then Shamia stays where she's at. And then Drew wants to talk to Porsha in that moment. But it appears as though she only did that because of Allison, which is Drew's sister mom. Hello. Because her sister Drew is there. I mean, her sister Allison is there. So Porsha was like, girl, we can talk another time. And that was pretty much it. Let me look over the notes real quickly. And then we're going to watch Married to Medicine. Well, I've already watched it. I got to take some notes. Britt and Mike. Okay. Okay, Porsha and Kelli. Okay, girl, whatever. Drew. Okay, Shamia and Gerald. Angela and Charles. All right. Drew and her lawyer. Porsha and Dirty Diana. And then the Ballman event. I put it was great. Okay. Oh, girl, when Kenya told Drew that, girl, you've been talked about like you're a whore, and then Cynthia said, "Oop, not a whore." Girl, I was with Cynthia. Girl, she said you've been talked about like you're a whore, and Cynthia said, "Oop, not a whore." Girl, whole sound, girl, because that's what that's what Mia called Giselle's daughters, a pack of whores. Well, she didn't say a pack. I added the pack, but she said they say that Mia called Giselle's daughters some whores. Whores is worse than hoe. I already you called me a hoe before you called me a whore. A whore? A whore? Girl, just call me a hoe. Oh, God. Anyways, what else? Okay, Okay, Porsha, Dirty Diana. Okay, okay, Angela, Shamia. They throw insults. It was cute. It was kind of funny. And that was it. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.